Hello. Hello, hello. Audio good? Audio check? What now? Yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm just reading up on chat here. Yeah, sounds good. Alright. Hello, hello. Yeah, we're gonna start probably in like 10 minutes, but I just want to say hi to chat. Yeah, it's been a while, actually, since I last streamed, but yeah. Oh, really? The mech. Yeah, I really love the mech drawing stream. Yeah, hey everyone. Yeah, I'm so glad you made it for this one. The Grebe Lord. Okay, I'll take that. I like that title. But yeah, today it's gonna be talking about like art exercises that I do. You know, get nice and strong for art. Hi. Nah, I use Clip Studio just because it's some the software that I've been using ever since because I got it free with my tablet, and ever since then I just stuck around with it. It's pretty nice. You need to know how to draw humans? Well, it came to the right place. So, yeah, today's a bit of a different stream because usually I ask for a theme, right? But then this time around, it's more just tips and tricks instead of a demo. Yeah, number one, really. Yeah, yeah. Look forward to it, and it'll be nice because while I'm sharing my tips, just feel free to ask me stuff. So ask me like questions. Yeah, that's the benefits of streaming. It's like a structured video. Well, pretty much, yeah, honestly. Like you'll see later. Like I wrote down notes. So, yeah, I hope you guys get a lot out of this video cuz yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But need money? Yeah, you do. It's for Clip Studio it's paid for, but I'm pretty sure they still have the one pay option. Yeah. Man, it takes time for sure. Like Ibis Paints and tried Clip Studio once. Because it's not one of those things where you just pick it up immediately. You have to take your time. Yeah. Actually, only Jesse does the art submissions just because I have 30 minutes less than the time, and also like uh yeah. We only want to pick a select few, you know. Because as much as I'd love to talk about every single one, there's too much. There's so many. Yeah. But at least Jesse, you could look forward to Fridays when they do. Yeah. What else? The time. Yeah, also to be honest, I'm trying to get used to like streaming again because it's been a hot minute. Do I like anime? Yes, I love anime. It's like my main aesthetic, pretty much, that I wanna learn how to draw. Yeah, for sure. What Daria said. We are thinking about boosting it up to 2 hours, but we'll see. Also, more time for demos. Yeah, hi hi. Hmm. I'm trying to think because like I always have to be careful about what anime I suggest. But an easy one to always suggest to everybody is Bochi. Bochi the Rock. I just recommend this to everybody just because like it's nice. It's only 12 episodes, and it's about Bochi. She's like really good at guitar, and she's always wanted to join a band, but she's super shy. That's like her thing. She doesn't know how to make friends, and it's about her learning to come out of her shell. And it's really good. The songs are really good too. Easy recommend. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, let's see. Do I know what gotcha is? I use that for design characters. Yeah, for sure. Like, there are lots of gotcha games, but I only really play Honkai, Star Rail. I didn't really get too into Genshin just because I didn't like the gameplay. I didn't like the, what's it called? The gameplay loop, I guess. I prefer the turn-based of Star Rail. And it's really funny that you bring up Plants vs. Zombies because I used to be obsessed. Like, when I was bored in class, I would just draw, like, my own Plants vs. Zombies, like, tower defense on my notebook. So yeah, this is, like, bringing me back to my middle school days where I would just draw stuff like this. This is all, like, from memory. It's been a while. But the first one is definitely the best one, for sure. So yeah. Classic. Yeah, Plants vs. Zombies. Awesome. I'm glad it's free now. Everybody gets to play. Cookie Run? Nah. I've seen, like, yeah, there's so many, like, fan art. But yes, I can see you. I can see everybody in chat, as a matter of fact. Yeah. But the zombies, I wouldn't know how to draw the zombies. I've only drawn them, like, I'm gonna try to draw them from memory. Forgot, do they have an ear? It's pretty good, actually, for, like, from memory. But yeah, a lot of my childhood was just spent drawing Plants vs. Zombies. You could tell, I just know them by heart. Doop, doop, doop. Or also, for the people who just gave in, we're just chatting right now, catching up with chat. And it's just so good. Like, it's so simple, and, like, I like the character designs, like, all the plants you get to use. Yeah. I'm trying to remember my favorite plant. My favorite plant, it had to be, like, the corn kernel. Just because of, like, the random chance to get the butter is good. No, we're not on Twitch, only on YouTube. So yeah, stay tuned for us on YouTube. And the Gargantuars. Yeah, just a blast from the past. Yeah, the kernel pulse. Do I like snakes? Yeah, I'd say snakes are pretty good. Yeah, I like... I'm trying to think what I like about them. I don't know, the fact that they're just like a head and like, you know, they're just like noodle animals. So yeah, here is, got a long tongue. Doop, doop. Yeah. I'd say they're pretty cute. Because I know some people are scared of snakes, but I like snakes. Do I play Minecraft? Yes, I do. Doop, doop. Oh, we have pet snakes. That's cool. But yeah, Minecraft, it's one of those games where it's just really good, but I don't know, I've played it so much that I gotta take like long breaks in between. Like, I would play on a Minecraft server probably for like 2 weeks like crazy, and then I would just stop playing for the entire year. And that's like my relationship with Minecraft, pretty much. But before, I used to play like all the time. It's so good. Yeah, I think just about time. I think we could get started actually. So let me clean up here, clean up my file. There that. Gonna put this on the side. Public Minecraft server. I don't know. We're more of a teaching channel, but yeah, that would sound fun though. Yeah, don't worry. All those answers I will address for today. So let me just grab my notes. So I think, yeah, just about time. And again, I want to welcome everybody who just came in. And yeah, welcome to today's stream. And today I want to share some digital art exercises with you. But before I do that, I want to talk about a few things. Where is it? There we go. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about digital art tips, and in case you didn't know, our growing community is filled with tons of art nerds, and we art nerds have to stick together. If you're an art nerd too, be sure to check out the links to our social media in the description below, and check out our website for our class offerings where you can get critique, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we're an art school as well. So if you'd like to support us so we could keep making free stuff, free content like this one, be sure to support us on Patreon for as little as $2 per month, where you could get tons of access like my working files, critique sessions, class recordings, and a huge discount on our classes that have a limited amount of spots. So check those out before they're gone. So yeah. Man, where's my chat? Yeah, skin and hair, please. Oh yeah, worry not. Everything is gonna be here. So I want to show you guys some digital art exercises to keep you steady on the road to being the best. And I want to start off by talking about the mindset you should have to make everything super effective, because I think that's the most important part. All of these exercises that I'll be teaching you guys won't be as effective if you don't have the right mindset. And then afterwards, I'm going to share, actual exercises that you'll be practicing to help you study. So yeah. And let me just write down the fundamentals here. So, mindset. So the first thing that you always have to remember when you're doing these exercises, have fun. So yeah, usually people save this for the last point, right? But really, having fun is super important, because number one, the most important thing is keeping your okay, it's loading. Okay, there we go. Your motivation alive. Because for a lot of people, they burn themselves out really quickly, and what's most important is keeping consistency. Because you've probably had it before, right? You've probably consistency. Or I need to clean that up. Keeping consistency. You probably had it before, you've looked at like a diagram of muscles and it's all crazy looking. It's got like all these crazy names. And you tend to lose focus and then you just give up. So remember that it's all about keeping it consistent and not just working really hard once and just never doing it again. So let's see. Chat. Yeah, there is a topic. Yeah, it's art exercises, just like in the title. Keeping my motivation alive. Challenge impossible. Well, I'm gonna show you how to have fun with it in a little bit. So the technique to keeping it fun is to just focus on the stuff you actually care about, Now, I'll talk about that in a little bit, actually. I'm getting ahead of myself. And so number 2 is know the basics. Know the basics. Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, right? A lot of the roadblocks that people encounter is that they jump into the deep end too early. So if you're learning anatomy, I know it's overwhelming to see all these muscles and stuff. And when you're learning about color, color theory is super broad and super, what's it called? Super, what's the word I'm looking for? Subjective? Because it changes with everybody. Some people might say coloring like this is wrong, but some people would say this is the best way. So yeah, you gotta ground yourself and just say to know the basics. And yeah, try to look at my notes. Also, it'd be literally impossible to tell you everything that I want to tell you, right? So what I want to teach you, teach yourself how to teach. Or I want to teach you to teach yourself. That's like a really important skill to learn. Yeah. Also, always ask the why. Yeah, so a lot of your questions, honestly, a lot of things that you may have questions about, you already know the question. So, it's all just a matter of like putting it in the forefront. So, for example, I know a lot of my students, they always say like, ah, the face is so ugly, or my eye is a bit off, right? So usually students stop there, but you have to continue that line of thought. So always ask why. So why does the face look ugly? Why do you think that the eye looks off, right? So once you ask yourself why, you start becoming more specific. Start being more specific. Because once you start being more specific, you know what to work on and what to change. How do I write so straight? It's just my handwriting. Yes. It's okay. I mean, just, I'll take a look every now and again in chat. But, yeah. Yes. And right now, I'm gonna back read. If there will be eventually. I think eventually there would be a dragon. Dragon stream. Think about that. But yeah. Anyway. And moving on to the next point is to learn with focus. So yeah, this calls back to these three things are pretty much connected. So, what's it called? Learn the stuff you want to learn. So this is connected to having fun, right? Because a lot of the time, right, some students think like, oh, I have to draw the musculature of the leg to really learn how to be good at drawing legs. When in reality, just draw the way you want it, and figure out how you want to improve it, just like on here. So you should learn as you go. I think that's like a better method for me, at the very least for me, to keep your motivation. Because if you start broad, right, if you start really broad and you don't know what you want to learn, then it ends up becoming super hard to focus, right? And yeah, learn with focus. And I'm trying to think of, let me put this aside. Because I guess I wanna share what I guess my experience with it. So learn with focus. I want to show some of my inspirations, I guess. Let me hide this. So this is from. I'm gonna write down their names. Oh, Undertale, surprise Undertale, and this. So I think I'm gonna talk a little bit more about it once we get to color later. But these are like my inspirations. So this one is by an artist named Oida Louie, right? Yeah, Undertale alert. Yeah, and I really love the way she colors, right? And what else? I really love just the way she uses like all the different colors basically. And then this one is by an artist named Black, and I really love his workflow. So his workflow is that he uses like few layers and it's pretty much like painting. Is it okay to use references? Yes, I will talk about that later on, so don't worry. Like how to use references is definitely important, and I'll go over it later. This one's by an artist named Black. And these four, these four artworks are by the same artist. So let's see. And it's really crazy, their range. So their name is Hungry Clicker. So They know how to draw this like super cutesy anime style, and then slightly realistic anime, and then even more realistic, and then realistic. This is all like by the same artist. And so, yeah, all of these artists are super different, right? But what I did was I focused on the things I liked about all of them, and then I tried to apply it in my own artwork, basically. So this is my own artwork right here. I really like the colors of Oida Louie, right? So I tried it out, and then I used the workflow that I really liked from here, from Black, and then I also used the same workflow as Hungry Clickers to make this, and then I like the colors for this one, so I tried it out myself. So yeah, it's basically all about cherry picking your the stuff you like from your artists and trying to apply it on your own. Yeah, Funny Bone Man. And then this one, I guess this one's like the biggest art piece that I made recently. I haven't been drawing too recently just because I'm kind of burnt out. I'm kind of tired of drawing, but yeah, this is the one where like kind of use a lot of everything that I learned and everything I liked. Yeah, that's the yeah. Ro got the anime out. Yeah, I did. So yeah, so pretty, and it's really funny. So again, learn with focus, you know, because if you take a look at my inspirations, they're all like super different. But then I just focused on the stuff that I liked. Oh, can you give some tips for coloring anime style better? That's part of the video actually, so we'll get there. Don't worry. That's also why like I wanted to. It's kind of like foreshadowing, you know, at a later point in the video. And then, what else? What else did I write down? Right, quick and meaningful. Quick and meaningful. Yeah, so don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Because the drawings I showed you, those ones took a while to make. These ones, so these are like the artworks I made, and they took a long time, but I would say that this isn't where I learned a lot of the things. So all these big artworks, I didn't really learn too much from the experience. What I really learned from was the small, oh, spoilers, but the small studies that I did, like this one. So I tried to like replicate it, and I tried to study closely. You know, these are like quick drawings that I did. So preferably when you're doing these exercises, try to focus on one thing. Because if you focus on making like a really pretty drawing, you know, like it's gonna be like the best of the best, it puts a lot of pressure on you, and you end up focusing on making a pretty drawing instead of learning. So long story short, when you're learning, focus on the skills and not making a pretty picture. Okay. So yeah, yeah, this is a live stream. I see you live. So yeah, I guess now that I've got my points out of the way, I'm gonna backread a little bit. Is it okay that your inspirations are very similar? Yeah, of course. It's totally fine. As long as you, I guess, pick up on it and you feel like it's fulfilling, then it's totally fine if they're all similar. Doesn't have to be diverse or crazy different from each other. You just, again, you just like it. You know, as long as you like it, it should be good. How do you deal with procrastination? I think sometimes it just happens, you know? I guess the best way to avoid procrastination is to just do something, you know, like keep your hand moving. Because I find that if you get bored, right, that's when you start procrastinating. So yeah, just keep your focus, and again, just do what you can to keep your attention. So going back to my point, right, these big drawings, they take a lot of effort. Oh, spoilers. They take a lot of effort to make something like this, and sometimes you end up becoming bored. So maybe if you just want to learn, right? Focus on just learning. Yeah, can you tell me how to make the color scheme better? Yes, I will later. It's just really important to get the mindset, you know? Yeah, got the base. Yes. It's really good art. Okay. But anyway, where was I? So again, quick and meaningful, you know, focus on making quick decisions and learning. Learn from mistakes. And I'm gonna showcase that a little better later. I just want you to what's it called? I just want us all to be like on the same page here. And then last but not least, probably the most important one, take your time. Take your time. So this is like a commonly asked question is do I practice being faster at drawing? And to that I say do not train for speed. Yeah, because speed is something inherent, right? So if you understand something, then you just naturally draw it faster. So take the time, no matter how slow it is, to understand something, because once you understand something, it leaves more space for you to just draw. Because when you're not sure about something, right, you start overthinking, and it takes a lot of effort to fill in those gaps. So yeah, always where is it? Train to understand. So yeah, don't focus too much on if you're slow or fast. Focus more if you understand the subject matter. That's more important than anything else. And yeah, that's about it. That's like all the mindsets. And we're finally gonna get to the real exercises that you guys have been asking for. But before that, I'm gonna read what chat thinks. How do I get started with digital art when I struggle understanding mechanics, variety of tools? Don't struggle as much. Yeah, it's nice that you bring that up, because the thing about digital, right? This is another tip that I want everybody to think about, is that digital is a tool. Okay, don't let the tools decide for you. You decide what tools to use. Okay, so the exercises that I'll be showing today, pretty much I'll just be using like this basic pencil and like this basic brush. Where is it? This basic brush that has like pressure sensitivity to it. Like if I press lightly, it's light, and then if I press hard, it's hard. So those are really like the only tools that I'll use. So the best way to think about digital is not that it's like an entirely new world. Try to think of like the art fundamentals more. So focus on learning the skills, and then how do I word it? Yeah, focus on the skills and not the tools, basically. Yeah. And I know it's really vague right now, but don't worry, I'll go over it later once we get to the actual thing, the exercises. I legit never train for speed. Just scribble until it looks good. Just so happens to be fast. I see. Oh, also, I want to share some words of wisdom here. Super, super important right here. Because I know some students, right, they get worried that like they're taking too long. But remember, if you always try to take the shortcut, you know, people always try to take the shortcut, but the shortest route was a detour. It was a detour that was our shortest path. So taking the time, yeah, I see you. I see you. This is like words to live by, honestly. Yeah, okay, Blood Moon. There you go. I said your name. We have written, I love Gyro too. Yeah, this is the quote to live by for this song. So, again, in taking your time, you know, taking the time to understand, it's ironically the fastest. Yeah, I think I'll move on now. I'll move on to actually talk about exercises. So I'll put this on the side so that we always like have it as reference. I'll shrink it down maybe. Copy. Okay, hold on. Notes. I'll actually name my file here just so I don't get lost in the sauce. There. And yeah, I guess I'm just gonna get started with gesture, just because anatomy is the most requested one. So actually, I should write down. Yeah, so the stuff I want to talk about for today, the 3 topics, is, let me put that outside. 3 topics is anatomy, color theory, and perspective. So I want to teach you guys some cool exercises for these 3. That's because it's the most common thing that people request. What app am I using? I'm using Clip Studio. Yeah, this is Clip Studio Paint. Spell color. Well, I like spelling it this way just because it looks nice, to be honest. Because I did spell it like this for a long time, but I don't know, color? Yeah, it's just nice. It is color in Canada as well. What about references? Oh yeah, we'll get to that. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I would like format my notes here, because I'm trying to do a better job of making neater notes, because usually I'm kind of all over the place. So let me boop. Yeah, this exercise that I want to share is called gesture drawing. Yeah, recently we actually posted a video on it. I think it's called like 5-minute poses or something, and it was a video that Faye did, but I really want to expand on it because yeah, it's a really good showcase of like of how to draw the poses. But yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, exactly. How do I follow reference? I'll just show you in a little bit. So gesture drawing. I want to write down the regiment first though. So the let's see. 30 minutes. Yeah, you know what? I'm too lazy to write it down. I'll just like I'll screenshot it. I'll screenshot it from my notes. Just because like I don't want to write anymore. I want to draw. Copy, paste. And I'm sure like, you know, if this gets edited down to a video, you know, thank you in advance, editors. But I'm just too lazy to write this. So there's this one. And then this one's for the hour-long one. Copy and paste. Yes, the magic of writing down notes digitally. Beep. Right there. Yeah, also it's kind of tiring to write down on like a digital surface. So 1 hour, I think? I forget. You have to calculate the math, but this is like the longer version? I'll just say longer version. I should have written down how long this like takes in total. And then shorter version. Yeah. Ooh, nice. Nice bread. Yeah, bread rain in chat. How am I supposed to draw 10 poses in 30 seconds? Well, I'll show you what I mean. So, let me just clean up my notes here. Oh, this is the wrong lasso. Copy, paste. So what I mean by this, by 10 poses, 30 seconds, is that you're supposed to do 10 different photos. 10 different photos of people posing, and then try to draw them in 30 seconds. And then afterwards, it's 5 minutes, or 5 poses, I mean, in 1 minute. So let me write down the notes. So it's all about drawing different poses in different times. Right here. And so I'm gonna start off with one example, right? So here's an example of a photo. And I'll show you guys what I mean by drawing them in like in 30 seconds. I'll show like difference. I'm just gonna read. Yeah, let me read this. Pon pon. Hands are complicated. Yeah, honestly, for me, there's lots of different sources to look for references, and there is one I really want to suggest, but sadly, it's got some not safe for work stuff in it. So I think I'll just leave this to your own like I guess discretion to like how you find your reference. Is it trying to do 10 poses in 30 seconds or doing... Oh no, it's doing 10 poses taking 30 seconds each. So yeah. I do got the IRL picture. So I'm trying to like reorient myself because I've been doing it. Yeah, Pinterest is also good. Pinterest is also a good source. Or just on Google. Nah, that's literally impossible. 10 poses in 30 seconds? Nah. Inhuman. But I'm gonna show you. Or actually, before I show you, I should talk about, again, the focus. So there's form and there's gesture. So, yeah. 10 poses, 30 seconds each. And so on and so forth. So 5 poses, 1 minute each. Yeah, I should have put each in like the text. But yeah. And let me try to arrange my layers. So I'm gonna try to do this pose in 30 seconds, right? So when you're doing gesture, or when you're doing this exercise, you obviously have not enough time to just draw every single detail, right? You only have 30 seconds. I wish I had a timer, but didn't really have time to prepare it. So when it comes to the shorter times, it's all about getting the gesture right. And what gesture is the energy of the pose. So the way you should think of it is yeah, you're trying to get the energy because it's completely different from form, which I will talk about in a little bit. So yeah, I'll write this down. 30 seconds. And I only really prepared 2 photos, so here's my other photo. And yeah, the credit is on the name of the layer. So yeah, if you want to get these, and yeah. And I really want to clean up my my notes. Like, as neat as my handwriting is, I still want to clean up a little bit. There. So yeah, maybe I'll shrink it down a little bit, just so we have more space for later. There. Transform. And right there. So I'm gonna try to do this pose in 30 seconds. And there. So starting now, I think. And this is what I mean earlier by making mistakes. You know, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Because what we're trying to figure out here is we're trying to figure out your instinct, right? Your go-to. Because our goal here is to make it as simple as breathing. You know, like drawing this pose. Try to make it so simple that you don't even have to think about it, you know? And if you do it really quickly, you're forced to make quick decisions. And in making those quick decisions, you get to find out what your habits are. And once you know what your habits are, you know, we're gonna decide what to keep and what to get rid of. Seconds. Yeah. No, try not to spam. Like, I like the excitement, honestly, but try not to spam chat because you will get muted for a little bit. There we go. Yeah, there are definitely websites out there, but yeah. See, exactly, Miuria. So you commented that the hand is too low, right? So maybe for next time, I'll try to think of that in the future, right? So, when I try again, with like a different pose, I'll try to make sure like, oh, I noticed that I make the hands a little bit too short, right? Or maybe for this one, um, kind of like this one actually. I just like the energy. And yeah, yeah. What skill does this exercise help to improve? If I had to describe it, it's just your instincts. So like in 30 seconds, right? You have to make like quick decisions. And so in this drawing, um, how do I describe it? I just got the pose across really quickly, and I guess, long story short, it improves gesture, which is again the energy of your pose. Yeah. Can you do the same thing with animals? Yeah, you definitely could. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I know, right? It's gonna be wacky. So again, I refer back to the mindset. It's going to be quick and meaningful, so don't be afraid to make mistakes, right? So that's why I wrote this down. And also, the nice thing about gesture drawing is that you don't have to feel overly committed, right? So just try to have fun with it. Like, don't worry about it. And I guess to refer back to the mindset, it's only the basics, right? When you're doing these, I don't expect you to be thinking about like, oh, the musculature, oh, the bone structure. I don't expect you to think about that. Just know the basics, right? So that's all I'm asking for. And yeah. So that's like the 30-second version, right? And say that, actually, before I continue, I should say that it's better if you just have like different poses, different photos, but, trying to think. Yeah, because I couldn't really compile like this many photos in the time I had, but let's just pretend that I have a completely different photo, which is what I recommend. Um, so when you've moved on to like the longer times, like say 5 minutes, right? So when you have 5 minutes, you have way more time to call it, way more time to think, right? Way more space. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try to draw this pretending like I have 5 minutes, right? Or yeah. So when I have 5 minutes, I have more space to think of the overall form. And so to describe what form is like the actual shape of the of an object, right? So if gesture is all about the energy, right? Getting the energy of the pose, well, form is the rigid stuff. So right here, right here. Form is like actually drawing shapes like cylinders and cubes. It's all about getting it right. There. There. And it doesn't necessarily have to be cylinders or anything. This is just like the way I feel like I could best describe what I'm going for. Yeah, so once you start having more time, right? You have more space to think. And once you have more space to think, you can think of both like the gesture and the form. And so you start asking yourself questions. So for example, or not really, well actually yeah, start asking yourself questions and start being more observant. So for example, this arm, right? You can see that it's shrinking. So that tells me that it's foreshortening actually. So let me fix that. So that means that he's not facing us head on. Like this one, he's not T-posing. He's slightly on the side. Right here. He's slightly at an angle. So let me try to draw that. How do I best describe it? It's kind of like a... Or I'll just draw it as like a simple T. Just to keep it simpler for myself to explain. Doop, doop. Yeah, it's like a Minecraft shape. So yeah, he's not facing head on straight on, right? He's like slightly to the side. And so I have to take that into account. When I'm drawing the arm, you could sort of see it. Like that. T-pose. So yeah, long story short, once you start getting longer and longer times, that's when you start noticing like the finer details, basically. And I think for references, I should talk about that. It's better if it's more form-fitting, right? Because if you draw somebody with a baggy outfit, it becomes way harder to what's it called, to draw. There's way more stuff in the way. Yeah. Deep, deep. And like that. Yeah, I should back read. Only problem is the oh, it has beachy music. Got the software, the website. Yeah, I know. I gotta say, I'm the same. I really don't like looking for references either. It's kind of, but it takes time, but it's worth it, you know. Can I make bread with a face, please? Maybe later, for sure. And I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to expand on. Alright, I wanted to do this example as well, so let me put you right here. And maybe I'll just make another layer. And there. And where is it? This one. So I'm gonna do this one again, but super quick and focusing on the form, right? So I draw the head right here. And this time I'm not just drawing just the energy of the pose, I'm actually like thinking about like the body as like a simple shape. There. So let me mind that. And I'm trying to remember what I learned, right, from earlier. I think one person mentioned that the arm was a little bit too short or something. Something like that, but something to do with the arm. So I'm gonna try to focus on that now. Doop, doop. And there. Just gonna try to draw this really quickly because I won't actually spend 5 minutes to draw. Oh, that's a really good question. Can you trace your reference? I will go over that after. There. And let me open that up. There. And there. And again, it's okay if it's not like entirely the same. So I'll talk about that afterwards, actually. I'll just focus on drawing this pose really quick. And this arm is really weird, actually. It's kind of like a bent like that. It's really fluid though. There, there, and right there. Yeah, and so once you start having more time, right? You also have time to really focus on the details. So for example, I noticed that, you know, there's her shoulder blades and then her muscles, right? It's like muscle here. You can start coming in and drawing like all the details. And again, it doesn't matter if you don't know what these muscles are. At this point, I want you guys to just observe, right? Try to observe what you see. There. And right there. I'm just gonna start drawing. Here. There. So I'm just gonna focus on the torso actually, and then I won't continue on too much, just because it would take too much time. So this one, right? We had a way longer time with drawing the pose. We got to put in more detail. And yeah, you gotta ask yourself questions like, For example, I don't know what this muscle is. Like, what is that muscle, right? So why does it form that shape? And start asking yourself those types of questions, you know, along those lines. Because again, right, going back to the mindset, always ask the why. So you start thinking, okay, why does the muscle look like that? What is that muscle, right? And then you start to look in to why that is. Maybe you take a look at like a muscle diagram, and then you figure out what muscle that is. I know what muscle that is, so if I had to guess, what was it? I think this is like the deltoid right here, and then this one is the pectoralis major, if I remember right. And I know that because it tucks under the deltoid, if I remember right. So technically that's like her pectoral muscles, like that. And the only reason why I knew that is because I started off with this, right? So I started off not knowing what this was, like what these muscles are. And then I started looking into it myself. So I looked at a diagram of like muscles, and then that's how I found out that, okay, this is the deltoid. And I know this because it attaches onto the shoulder blade. And I know that the pectoralis major, it attaches under the deltoid, like same area as like the humerus. And yeah. And you're probably thinking like, Iggy, you're spouting like a lot of like mumbo jumbo right now, like big words. Like how am I supposed to learn that? So yeah, that was like going back. It's where is it? Where is that? Yeah, asking the why. So that's the only reason why I found out is because I asked myself why. And as much as I'd love to like go over everything, right? It's really impossible because there's so many different things to learn. So going back, I want you guys to learn how to learn. Yeah, I want to teach you how to teach yourself, right? So if you really, really want to learn, like the finer details, the only way to know that is by yourself. You know, like as much as I really want to go over every single finer detail, it's better to teach you. You know, it's better to teach you what to look for and to ask the right questions, which is super important. Yeah, I think that's like my little aside. And he talked about this. Yeah, exactly. Most advice are subjective. Like literally, you could ignore everything I just said, but always like cherry pick. Cherry pick what you like, right? Because what works for me may not work for you. So let me back read actually. This is a nice chatting stream. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about tracing actually. Okay, so let me back read. Yeah, tracing over basic shapes. Yeah, exactly. Tracing basic shapes over the reference helped me see forms. I don't need it anymore now. Exactly. So I think the best way to think of tracing, think of it as training wheels. Okay, so humor me on this one. Kind of want to doodle. Kind of want to doodle for a little bit here. And then the nice. And then I just want to doodle to erase the monotony of like me just like talking. Deep, deep. And there you go. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, tracing, it's okay to have training wheels, right? Because sometimes you just like, it's literally like a pain, like in the butt, to figure out something by drawing. So I'll use this as an example. There. Let me erase you. So maybe you're like, okay, I can't get this hand right. And so what I do is like I kind of trace over it. And like that. And like that. Yeah, let me read what Daria said. Yeah, you don't learn as much. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. You don't learn as much when you trace compared to learning it by hand. And also it's plagiarism. Exactly. So the way I would trace, right? So for example, is I don't get the arm. So now I trace over it, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna try to replicate it without tracing. Like that, and like that. Because like, say, like, I couldn't get the angle right, then in that sense, it's okay. It's totally fine to trace if you feel like you can't get a grasp of what you're trying to draw. But if you're trying to trace and then passing it on as if you drew it, then that's when it starts getting kind of shady, you know? Like, it's not very Gucci of you if you trace. It's yeah, it's plagiarism pretty much. Put it simply. But yeah. And yes, welcome back. Hello again. And let me back read it. And yeah, I think that's about it. And that's my little aside. And I will put tricycle Iggy somewhere here. Yeah. Usually you're better off imitating something step by step as opposed to directly tracing. Yeah, sometimes. And yeah, I think, long story short, for gesture drawings, right? Try to do these exercises. So 10 poses, 30 seconds each, and then 5 poses, 1 minute each, right? And 2 poses, 5 minutes each, and 1 pose, 10 minutes each. And then this one's a longer version, so this one, basically you just add like a 5-minute break, and then one 25-minute break. And so again, remember, while you're doing these exercises, always remember the mindset, right? So when you're doing gesture drawing, have fun with it, right? So there's no need to feel committed, right? It's really quick and easy, so just do it and then move on if you make a mistake. And then know the basics, right? So knowing the basics is literally just drawing what you observe. Like, drawing what you observe doesn't get any more basic because it's literally just what you see in front of your eyeballs, right? And then, yeah, just knowing the basics helps you put something down on paper, right? So that you're not too demotivated about like, oh, what muscle is this or blah blah blah. And then always ask the why, because once you start asking the why, that's when you start learning, right? Like the muscle example I gave out earlier. So you're like, okay, what is this muscle? Why is it there? And then I start by doing my own research and looking into it, and then I find out this is probably the deltoid, and then this is probably the pecs, the pectoralis major, that's forming this shape right here. And there. And that's how I learned, you know? So all of the advanced stuff comes after the basic stuff, of course. It's like power scaling, you know? You start off small, and then once you feel like you're ready to learn the big stuff, then go ahead. And yeah, gesture drawing, it's all about doing it quick, making snap decisions, and I lost my train of thought. Yeah, building up your instinct, I guess. Yeah. Trying to see what chat is talking about. You guys are making me hungry, talking about pizza. I haven't eaten yet. I hate when my pizza cold. I kinda like it when pizza's cold, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, hi. Welcome. Welcome, Berry Fruit. Yeah, exactly. What Kevin K said. It never hurts to give credit to other artists, even when you reference. Yeah, and I guess now would be a good time to like talk about it a little bit. Because I know that some artists, right, you just want to use reference, like maybe really like the pose or something. Then it's totally fine. It's totally fine if like if you post it, you say like, oh, I referenced this. I was inspired by it. It's totally fine if you do that. Hey, are you okay? Yes, I'm very okay. Cold pizza is good. It's really nice. Sometimes. Maybe it just sort of makes you nostalgic too, you know, like waking up and then eating a cold pizza. Oh, where and when does greebling come into play? See, that's the thing. Greebling, you can do it anytime. Greebling is in your heart. Bredson, Bredson. But yeah, exactly. Triple G. But I think that's about all the gesture drawings stuff that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I think I can move on. Ooh, what's Greebling? You're gonna have to watch the mech stream, baby. The mech stream talks all about Greebling. And yeah, I think I'm gonna move on to color now. So I'm gonna do a big old stretch. Oh my gosh, that was so much talking. And we have 30 minutes left actually, wow. Or not actually, no, never mind. I started a little bit early. Yeah, mother. Yeah, pineapple pizza, honestly, I don't mind. It's good. I like it. I enjoy it. Yeah, go over color scheme. Yes, yes. Say less, say less. So again, color. I'll just put it as simple as that. Colors. Yeah, small details to make something look more complex. Exactly. And I think for colors, right, it's a very broad topic. It's super subjective, right? Some people might think some colors are ugly, some people might think it's nice, but I really want to focus on this mindset. Know the basics, right? So when it comes to color, there's like a few things I really consider. So there's hue. You probably heard these terms, saturation. And I know my students have heard it a lot, but that's because it's like the super basic, right? Like you need to know these terms basically. So for hue, it's basically the color itself. And my file is backing itself up. Hold on. Okay, there we go. And hue basically is like the color that you pick. So if somebody says shift the hue closer to blue and I'm at yellow, that means I move closer to blue, right? Or if somebody says shift the hue closer to red from blue, then I move to somewhere like in purple, right? Because they said closer to red, but not on red, right? Like shift the hue to red, it just means like, oh, okay, I go to red. Or shifting it closer to blue is like going in between, so like purple. Yeah, that's hue. And then saturation is density of color. Oh, right. So before I continue, actually, hue, basically it's like moving around the color wheel like this. That's shifting hue. And saturation is moving from left to right on the color wheel. So a really desaturated color is gray, right? And then an overly saturated color is this green. This is on the very right. So basically, saturation is moving left to right on your color wheel in digital. Now let's see. Yeah, I want to see what chat is. I hate orange, but I can't deny when art, it slaps. Yeah, exactly. Brightness? Oh, I'll show you why I use value in a little bit, actually, because value is super important. Okay. Yeah, gray has no saturation. Exactly. What if the color's turquoise and then you want to move it towards red? Do you want to move it? Okay, let's see. Turquoise. Yeah, I think that's up to you. That's the subjective part of art, right? So if you want a warmer tone, then you move to green. But if you want a cooler tone, then you move to blue. So yeah, that's like the secret to it. Yeah. Hey, okay, do you recommend spending a few days to sketch? I've heard sketching is a very underrated tool, and I was curious. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's related to what we were talking about earlier. But yeah, 100%. So, I'm not saying that like brute forcing, or not brute forcing, I should say quantity over quality is bad. But what I am saying is to learn with focus, right? Because what I see some people do is they sketch like heads without really like thinking about it. So they're sketching heads, but their head empty, you know? So like, it's better to draw 5 well thought out heads than like 100 head empty, no thoughts head, So yeah, that's my tip for that. Sketch with purpose. Yeah. But yeah, going back to what we were talking about here. Warm is right and cool is left. Not necessarily. I'd say that warm is just closer to like red, and then cool is closer to blue, I'd say. So like whichever one, because like it's pretty subjective, right? Because if you said warm colors, it's red, orange, yellow. So maybe for you, if you want it warmer, you just want to move closer to orange, then yeah, you could. You know? Or maybe if you want it red, then you move like way closer to red, you know? And that's a neat part about color theory is that I can't tell you. I can't tell you the answer, right? So that one, it's up to you to figure out. And I really want you guys to figure stuff out for yourself. Yeah. And value. I want to talk about value here. It's the brightness / darkness of color. So each color is just inherently brighter or darker. So for example here, I'm gonna make this purple, and then I'm gonna pick this yellow right here. So if you take a look at the color wheel, right, you see the dot? It's not really moving, right? It's literally like the same level of brightness, it says. But if I turn it black and white, you'll see that that is not the case at all. So color, there. So yeah, you see that if I turn it black and white, right, it's like quite obviously like different values, right? So you can see that the purple is obviously darker than the yellow. Even though, if I turn this on, right? If I turn on the colors again, look, it doesn't move an inch. But then, turn it black and white, you can see that there's like a big difference between the two colors. And yeah, that's like the basic of it. And also, value, I guess, is up and down on the color wheel. And so these are the basics. So I wanted to share these so that we're all like on the same page. And actually, I think after this, I will talk about like hair anatomy a little bit. I forgot because like somebody mentioned that. I knew I forgot to talk about something. Yeah, I was gonna talk about hair anatomy. But anyway, let me take a look at my notes. How did I turn to black and white? Right, I wanted to talk about this as well. So the best way to turn something black and white is to make a layer, and then on the color mode, right here on the left, I turn it into color mode, and then I fill it with like the brightest whites. So like right here. So you could see this as a filter, right? I'm gonna put this red right here, and then there. You can see that it turns black and white. And you might be asking, Iggy, why don't you just go into like hue, saturation, luminosity, and just do this, right? Well, it's actually inaccurate if you use the sliders. So like, I'll show the comparison, right? This one, I'm gonna use the slider on. I'm gonna use the desaturation. And this one, I'm gonna use the color. So you can see the difference, right? It's like a huge difference. Like this one's like way more accurate, and you can see that it's actually way darker. But with this one, you can see that it looks brighter. And that's because with the slider, it it just adjusts the math, right? So like it only like moves it from left to right. But then if you use the color layer, it's a filter. So this filter is more accurate at getting the value right. So yeah. Exactly. Saturation is the density of the color. Is saturation linked to value? Yes, it is. 100%. So like I'll show you. There. So maybe this red, right? I'm gonna desaturate it a little bit. Well, actually that's a lot, not a little bit. But... So yeah, I'm gonna show you there. And right there. So you can see that I desaturated it, and there's a like, it's slightly brighter, right? So here's the comparison. You can see that this one is slightly brighter, right? Because some colors are just inherently darker, right? That's what I wanted to talk about. And as long as you know this basic fact, right? Know the basics, then it helps you out a lot when you're picking colors. So yeah. And I'm trying to reorient myself. Doing a big old stretch as well. So I'm gonna go back to my art inspo here. Or actually, no, I'll talk about this one right here. Yeah, so when I was practicing this, oh, Procreate sliders work accurately though. Well, we'll see. It's just that personally, I think the color layer works better. But yeah. So when I was practicing this one, right, this artwork, I was paying close attention to like what's it called, the values more or less. So what I did was like you can see like I have the black and white filter over here, and I was trying my best to match like the shadowing. Excuse me. This one is this artist is by Lack, by the way. I'll rename it. So that's the name of the artist, Lack. And so again, going back to the mindset, I learned with focus for this one. So you could see that the colors aren't exactly one-to-one the same, right? Mine is a little bit warmer, because you could see that in the color wheel it's closer to like orange and stuff, but then this one's closer to yellow. So I didn't really mind that. What I was focusing on is the value and like the shadows. And pretty glad that I got it right. So hold on. So yeah, I did my best to learn about the values. But the black and white thing didn't work for you. So I'm gonna go over the steps again. So first, you make like a layer, right? You fill it with whites, like the brightest white you could fill it. And then you go on here and set it to color. And then make sure it's on top of everything. Right here. So that's how you get it to work. And saturation, how vibrant the color is. Exactly. Hue, what the color is. Yeah, thank you, Daria. And yeah, where was I? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I guess this is. I think my other example is better actually. This one. So I'll talk about this one, and I'll show how I started it. So this is my reference, right? And I just did my best to like quickly draw it. So I'm gonna walk you guys through like how I researched my my colors, I guess. So what I did was I just did the sketch, right? And then I put on like the base colors on like one layer. And then I asked myself like, okay, like it's obvious that it's not super flat. Like there's like shading on it. So I added like a multiply layer to add like the shading of it. And then I kind of carved it out. So like what I did was I filled everything with like a multiply layer to make it darker. And then I just sort of like erased parts of it to make the lighting. Right here and right here. And then I added like the brightness. Yeah, I see like a lot of questions, so I'm gonna try to go over this really quickly. So I added it with like a glow dodge layer. So I added some orange because I noticed that like it's slightly warmer right here, and then like it's slightly cooler, right? And how do I know? If I take a look at here, there's like some pink, some like pink purples. If I color pick it, you can see that it's pink. And then this one, if I color pick it, it's like blue, right? So it's like bluish, purplish in color. So that's why when I did the glow dodge, it's on like an orangey color. So yeah. And then for the line art, I added like a touch of color to make it slightly bluer, just to make it darker. But yeah, I'm gonna read about here. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I really want to encourage for this stream, because this is what's so different about this stream, I guess. It's more just ask me anything, you know? Why does it change value of gray background to white? Oh, it's because what was it? Let me try again. That's a good question actually. Let me make another one right here. Color. There. I'm gonna put it outside actually. Oh. Yeah, so the reason why, it's kind of like it's a logic thing. So like, you see how it's in a layer folder? So everything in the layer folder only interacts with each other. I sort of talked about it in the layer stream, so if you want to go over it more. But what I should do is like put it outside actually. I'm gonna put it outside of a folder and you'll see. There you go. Because right now this is what the layer sees. It sees that everything else outside of it is empty because it's in a folder. But then once I put it outside of the folder, it starts interacting with everything. So that's why like it turns bright white. So yeah, that's not a dumb question at all. And again, that's what I want to encourage. Ask, always ask, okay? And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid about making mistakes because that's like the way we learn it. Yeah. Changing expression from color to color. White is too bright. Great example of reference. Yeah, I'm just back reading right now. Not a duplicate of the original. Yeah, exactly. And actually, a student taught me this, but like, for the longest time, I would just put stuff outside of the layer. But actually, there's like a layer mode called through. And then once you put it on through, it should like work. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's because it's in a layer within a layer, that's why. Okay, now if I put this on through. See, it works. It's crazy. You don't have to put it outside of the folder. I didn't know that. A student... Yeah, she taught me that like way back. It's pretty funny. Exactly. Kevin K. Yeah. That's what Kevin K said. You learn more from perfection. Or you learn more from mistakes than perfection. Sorry. Yeah, I can tell I'm hungry. And yeah, again, this exercise that I'm showcasing right now, this is like done really fast. Like, I think it took me less than an hour, probably. And then so after that, I painted over it. So like, here's the comparison. So what I did was like, I merged all the layers together. So like, I'll do it again. There, I merged it all together. And then what did I do? Yeah, I started adding in like the colors. So like, I color picked this, right? So I color picked this bright color, and then I just started like adding it on, like the bright color. There. And the reason why I'm working with this workflow is because I like it. So if you want to work with the classic, you know, line art, color, and all that, then yeah, definitely do. So again, practice what you care about. Where did I say that? Yeah, do what works for you, basically. So basically, I just like painted over it, you know, and I won't go over it again because it would like take forever. And so I paid attention to the reference again, and so I noticed that like what was it? There's like a bright spot here, or like I'm trying to like get the values right here. It's more like a back and forth, right? So I was keeping track of the hue, right? Even though my hue is it's kind of, I took liberties for it, you know? It's like super orange in mine, but it's because I like that. I like it that way. So, and then, ooh, is it important to find your own art style? That's a really good question as well. I'll go over it after. And what time is it? We only have a few minutes left. We have 21 minutes, but actually that's more than enough time. It's ample time. But anyway, I'm gonna try to finish this off. So yeah, basically, while I was studying, right, I was making my own decisions, right? I wasn't copying it one to one. I was learning the stuff I wanted to learn, you know? So yeah, and you bring up hair? Okay, I'll cue that up because I know that was also a question, like hair anatomy. So for sure. Hair anatomy, quote unquote. That's how I put it. But yeah, I'll keep it queued up in my brain here. And then yeah, I just followed it. And then boom. And then hold on. What did I change? Yeah, I started cleaning up the sketch. And then what was this? Oh, okay. And yeah, this is what I ended up with. So yeah, I learned a lot from this experience, even though it was like super quick, right? So I think the best way I could put it is I know a lot of people are saying stay out of your comfort zone, and it's true, right? Stay out of your comfort zone when you're learning. But in reality, when you're making these big drawings, right? Where is it? When you make big drawings like this one, this is actually like my comfort zone, but like take it to the max, right? Because if you want to make something great, it's usually within your comfort zone. So like this one, this is like well within my comfort zone. I didn't really try anything too experimental. This one is all. So that's also why I keep saying that I learned a lot more from like the smaller drawings where it's more experimental. It's more smaller in scale, but I got to try out more things outside of my comfort zone. Yeah, that's another way to think about it. But yeah. And what was it? Yeah, somebody was asking about art style. And I think art style is, if I had to define it for myself, I think art style is your own interpretation of like a fact, right? So for example, like gesture, right? There's like rules to it, but then my art style is how I interpret it. So I think the art style is something you find on your own, naturally. It's kind of like speed, right? Do not train for art style and do not train for yeah, don't train for art style, don't train for speed. Train more for like what you want to know and then putting your own spin to it. That's what an art style is, right? So like I guess you could say that in my artwork, this is sort of my art style. I really like the vibrant, saturated colors, right? I really like the this type of color. Yeah. I think digital painting can be good and accurate without line art. Just like blocking in shapes right off. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hair anatomy. Right, I'm gonna talk about that, and then I'm gonna show like the actual exercise for color studies. Because yeah, just a heads up, it's all about still life, baby. Still lifes are so good. Iggy has done it. Yeah, Iggy uses his style a lot. Oh, hold on. That's a lot too. Yeah, exactly. I really like blocking it. It's super nice. They're drawing really stylized, and I'm. But is it okay that it looks abstract? Yes, of course. As long as like you feel like you're learning something substantial and like you're moving towards what you want to work towards, then yeah, it's good. Because for me, right, if you take a look here, I really want to learn like the anime aesthetic, right? Like picking up like the proportions and like the art style, and I feel like I'm succeeding, right? So that's also why I say to learn with focus, because yeah, you will learn the stuff you want to learn, and you'll get there. And I guess I wanted to talk about this earlier in the gesture part, but here's some quick hair anatomy. So I'll try to make it quick just because like it's not really the focus of today. But hold on. There. I'm just gonna draw like a simple face. There. There. So the way I like to divide hair, or the way I like to think of it, is like there's the bangs, and then there's the side of the head right here, and then there's like the back part of the head. And that's it. You're done. Wow. but but what I mean by this is anyway, is to try to think of it as like a helmet, right? So it's a helmet that like kind of envelops the whole head. And so I'm gonna start off with the bangs again. So the bangs, I like to think of it as like a framing device. So this is why I really like drawing hair like this. So you can see that it's framing the face really nicely. So like that, it's forming this nice kind of shape. And that's the bangs. And it's good to segment your hair. And then I'm just gonna make it defined. So like say like, okay, this is like the bangs part. And then this is the side of the hair. There. I'm just gonna draw like some random anime hair. And doot, doot, doot. This is the ears. And I should draw the neck actually, just to make it easier. So this part is like the back part. So I guess to put it simply, for hair, the way I see it, it's like a framing device. So it's a nice way to frame your character and to just do something cool, satisfying. And we have 15 minutes left. Oh man, okay, I gotta make it quick. But I think that's all the time I have for talking about hair anatomy. But yeah, just try to have fun with it and remember like those segments. So again, calling back to know the basics. Okay. So now I'm gonna try to draw like some hair, different hair. There, I'm just gonna draw a face as well. So now I'm gonna draw like a nice, simple hairstyle. And I guess you could say that this is the bangs right here. I think it really depends on me what I consider to be the bangs. So like for example, this part could be the bangs, or this part could be the bangs, and then this is part like the side part. So it's really subjective, but long story short, segment the hair, think of it in parts, and frame the face. So that's like the secret to it. So yeah, boom. Giant twin tails. Did I just make Miku actually by accident? I just made Miku by accident, but wow. Yeah, awesome hairstyle. Thank you. Yes, 100%. It's like super messy, and I hope you don't mind. But yeah, this is like chaos. This is like my head. Honestly, this is like what goes on in my head. So you got like this guy right here. That's me. And then where is it? Yeah, keep it simple. I'm gonna try to finish off like the who's Miku? Oh my gosh, it's okay. I don't listen to her music too. It's just that she's so iconic that you can't miss Miku. But anyway, where was I? Art inspo. Color studies. Right. I wanted to show you guys how to do a still life, okay? I'm gonna do a still life in like 10 seconds. So right here, because actually before I do that, the reason why I wanted to talk about these three is because it's pretty much the basis of everything. So like, I know a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, like what do I do? How do I texture glass? How do I texture metal, right? So I should have gotten like a metal reference, but anyway. I'm gonna try to do this really quick. I'm gonna do this in like 10 seconds. Well, not really 10 seconds. Literally impossible, but this calls back to like what I talked about earlier, right? Quick and meaningful. So now I'm just gonna use my basic brush, I guess, like this one. And I'm just gonna pay attention to like the colors. I mean, I could color pick if I wanted to, but I won't learn too much if I color pick. So I'm just gonna try my best and use my instincts, right? So if I had to guess, right, this vase is super saturated. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna pick a more saturated color. And then I noticed that the shadow is it's pretty dark, right? It's pretty high contrast. And contrast means that the shadows are dark. Like there's like a big difference between the two. That and like that. And then I'm gonna draw like the oranges. The oranges are also pretty saturated. So yeah, right there. And see, notice, right? So let me draw like one orange actually. And then right here. So just like I talked about earlier, right? Each color has an inherent value to it. And if you look here, right, if I color pick it, you could see that it's like a red-orange, right? It's like super close to red. But then if I pick the bright, right? The bright color right here, it's like yellowish, yellow-orange. So that's why it's important to know, like, this stuff. So be observant when it comes to this. And let's see. Man, this comment. But yeah, it's Dragon Ball Orange. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And again, I really encourage you guys to not color pick, at least. Like, try your best. And I think this is all the time or this is like all I could muster up, I think, for the still life. But maybe it could be darker, actually. There. There. And what time is it? 2:20. Yeah, I don't know if I could talk about perspective. I don't know, man. I'll just try to go over it quickly. I still will go over perspective, because, like, yeah, I want to, I just want to go over that. I planned it. I had a whole plan and everything. Yeah, I'll try to... Okay, so where's my train of thought? Right, so the first thing, right? I was looking at the hue of everything, so, like, okay, blue, obviously, right? And then saturation, I looked at, like, how bright the, or how vibrant the blue was, right? So you could, like, do it on your own and then sort of, like, compare by color picking. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to do that. But then value, last but not least, I'm gonna check my thing in black and white. So that's the white. So yeah, you could compare and contrast. So you can see that there's like a highlight on the orange, so maybe I'll add that in. There. And maybe I'll pick like a brighter yellow like that to add in the highlight. So yeah, you could see that it's pretty similar, right? And so, long story short, the secret to it is knowing these three. And just like with gesture drawing, always ask yourself the why, right? And yeah. And then I think I'm only gonna quickly go over what's it called? I can only quickly go over... Wow, I'm really losing my train of thought. Perspective. Okay, there we go. Perspective. Okay. And I'm gonna clean up this file a little bit. So yeah, there you go. There's your comparison. Yeah, I would have written down notes, but it's too long. Or I'm trying to think now if I should. Do I really want to? Okay, let me just do that. And right there. And I'll put my little doodle down here. Because again, I want to make for some nice, neat notes. That's like a... Yeah, that's nice actually. Nice, neat notes. Let me make this bigger as well. There. And right there. Okay. For erasing perspective. Oh no, perspective is really fun actually. It's just that I really want to, but recently it's just been so tiring, you know. It's been a busy week for me. Which layer am I going to post? All of these, of course. I'm gonna share these as pages. That's why I've been trying to like keep it neat, you know, because I'll share this. And so yeah, I'm trying to think if there's like a point I missed. Let me look at my notes. Right, I want to talk about brush. Because like, I know some people are like, okay, what brush do I use? And I think the simpler the brush, the better, right? So honestly, just a hard round brush is all you need for this type of stuff, for practicing color. Yeah, brush. And another recommendation, I see a lot of students, they do this, right? They love to blend. So like, oh, I'm also very guilty of this because I'm like, oh my gosh, I love blending so much. But I really recommend that you do not blend because you will get lost in the sauce and it'll you'll spend a lot of time blending more than actually like doing color. So yeah, I think try to avoid blending for a little bit until like I guess what's like a good point? I guess when it's like necessary, because for me, I use blending rarely now because I used to blend everything, and yeah. All you need to know. That's my short notes. G pen, yeah. And hold on, I gotta stretch. Yeah, do not get lost in the sauce. Very important. Exactly. Default user. Exactly. Yeah, I'm also kind of getting like hungry. That's also why like I should have eaten. My brain is getting duller. But I'm trying to think of how to talk about this. So I have like a basic thing here. So when you're practicing perspective, again, know the basic, right? Know the basics, which is super important. And you've probably heard this a million times before. You know, there's the eye line. Let me write it down. Eye line. And then there's the vanishing point. The vanishing point is on the eye line, right? Usually. So if I draw like a cube or something, that, and like that, and like that. So this is the vanishing point. And the reason why I call it an eye line is because it's more accurate to call it that. So for example, the eye line is usually where your eyes are. So like that, right? There. Or usually where the camera is. Doop, doop, doop. There's a basic camera. So that's what it is. And then the vanishing point is where everything vanishes onto. And sometimes, a good practice, actually, before I expand on it, is to use a photo and then try to find the eye line and the vanishing point. So maybe I won't put this on. Delete. Delete. Here. And so for something like this, right, it's kind of hard to tell where the vanishing point is. So the best way to do it is to find a space that is what's it called? Kind of matching with each other, and then try to expand like the lines right there, and then right there, and then wherever they cross over is usually where the eye line is. So like, let me write that down. Eye line right there. And so the way I would make sure if that's correct is I would use it again. Actually, maybe that is wrong. So like there, or there. Yeah, this one goes like all the way out, you see. So like it goes on forever. But yeah, maybe I did get the angle wrong actually. So this is why you have to be careful. Because I feel like, yeah, now that I look at it, it's one of those drawings where it expands on forever, like the vanishing point. So yeah, let me... Yeah, there you go. Oh, that was right. Right there. And right there. And another important thing to know about the eye line is that it's where the lines start to shift, right? So for example, if I drew the eye line right here, and let's say I drew like a cube, right, that's in between both, you can see that this one goes up in that direction, and then that one goes down in that direction. So another option of trying to find the eye line is to find where it starts changing. So for example, this one and this one's obviously different, right? And this one's a little bit more flat. So maybe this horizontal line is where the eye line is. Yeah. And let's see. I think the vanishing point is at the end of the road. Maybe. I think it was like around there, but yeah. Do I like butter croissants? You guys are making me hungry. But okay, I think I'm just gonna spend like 10 more minutes because I don't want to go too overtime, but I still want to like talk about the basic. So yeah, long story short, I'm just gonna write down the notes, I think. Look for eye line, horizon line. And I'm just gonna show like the two methods, I guess, of doing it. So first off is doing like the lines. Hold on. Beep. Oh, also like this artist, it's by Lully Liu. This is actually like a 3D model, I think. Yeah, this is a 3D model of a place from Licorice Recoil, this anime. So method number 1 for looking for the eye line is to just like expand the lines, like try to follow it like this, find it till it keeps going on forever, and then boom, trying to connect it. And then where they connect is usually where the eye line is. Now you just draw like a straight line. Yeah. What style is this drawing? I think it's more anime, I'd say. I don't know what I would say. How do you just the lines that are not aligned the main vanishing point? Oh, that's another basic actually that I wanted to talk about. You can have infinite vanishing points. You can have as many as you want. So the thing about those objects that don't follow the vanishing point, it's usually because they're offset, right? So for example, I'm gonna draw like a line right here. And this is like the example that everybody does, right? The 1-point perspective. I'm gonna showcase it in 1-point perspective. So say like I drew a street in 1-point perspective. There. So everything is pretty much following that one line. But then what if you wanted to make like something that's offset, right? Something that doesn't follow it. Well, that's when you sort of make your another vanishing point. So for example, maybe this one is like, oh, hold on. Maybe this one is like this, right? Well, this one's 2-point perspective, but yeah, maybe just to showcase it. So this one has like a different perspective. And then, oh my gosh, it's getting so messy actually. Oh, maybe I'll just do another 1-point. There. Yeah, maybe I'll just do it in the context that there's still 1-point perspective. There. And then I'm gonna clean it up. So I'm gonna try to reorient myself since it's kind of getting lost in the sauce and I don't have much time left. So you can have infinite vanishing points, and I'm trying to think of where I was at. Trying to reorient myself. Let me take a look at my notes. Yeah. So basically what I'm trying to tell you guys here is the eyeline is the most important, and trying to look for it is a good exercise to do for your artwork. So this is method number 1, and then method number 2, right? Because some lines they go on forever, like actually forever. So the other method to looking for the eye line is to look for the horizontal line, to see that point where things stop being angled. So for example, right here, right, you can see that it's horizontal. This one has a super angle, and then this one also has a super angle, right? That. So usually the part where it's flat is where the eye line is. So I'll show another example. Let me put that up here on my Thing is so messy now. Let me delete that. Okay, yeah, let me read chat. You're going to leave the stream? Alright, well, see you around. This isn't the last. This is the lots more streams, so don't worry. Not losing the feeling. I think you should take a break. So again, this is referring to this mindset. Take your time. Just do what's best for you. And let me delete this. I'm gonna show like another example, I guess. Right here. This one's from Persona 5. This is like the... Or actually, I forgot another basic, right? There. So for horizon line, the reason why we have to find it, right, is usually because when something is below the horizon line, or the eye line, you can see the top of it. And then if something is above the horizon line, then you can see the bottom of it. Because like we're looking up, right? So that's why it's so important. Because the simple concept is pretty much everything. So the way you would draw your shapes is dependent on the eye line. So for example, I'm going to draw this like quick copy paste. What time is it? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to wrap up in like a few minutes here. Like 4 minutes. Yeah, I think you should take a break, you know, like just stretch your hands and all that. And also maybe you're holding your pen wrong, so like don't hold it too tightly. And right there. Yeah. And so this is why like deciding where the eye line is could really change your drawing. So for example, this first one, it has a pretty simple horizon line. It's like in between. But then if I put it lower, right, then you would see more of the sky, which means you're more looking up an object. So it's like the perfect angle. But then if you have it below, or you see more of the ground, then yeah, you would see more of the top, like that. So that's a good exercise, is to look for the horizon line and yeah, try to figure it out from there. So that's like the basic. And since I'm already like over time, I'm super over time, I think I'm just gonna wrap up. So it was a lot of talking for today. And I hope you guys had fun, you know, because I wanted the stream to be more interactive, and I am glad, you know, lots of people are talking in chat today. And so remember, it's super important to have the mindset. Like, just remember to keep these in your head, because otherwise all the stuff we talked about won't be as effective. Will I stream again? Yes, of course. I always stream. No, don't leave. But don't worry, like there's like a million other streams, and if there's anything I really want to leave you guys off on, is that you guys are the best teacher, right? So, you know, I could do all of these exercises, you know, you could do everything, but in the end, you know what you like, right? And what I really want to encourage you guys is to do what you like, right? And then learn based on what you like. So it's not a matter of what's it called? It's not a matter of knowing every single muscle, or being able to measure perspective, or being able to use every single color. It's about knowing how to, right? And I can't really tell you that. Only you know what you like. So you have to make the basics, right? The boring, and like the must-know stuff, like anatomy, color theory, and all that, and make it work together with what you like. So yeah, that's what I want to leave off on. And again, I want to remind you guys that we're not just a YouTube channel. You know, we're also an art school. So if you want to learn with me, right, take an online class with me, we actually have camps going on right now if you want like a really relaxed experience. Or if you want to learn with me, you know, learn some concepts and take classes every week. I teach cartooning and anime. Yeah, camps. It's online camps, not like in person. So I also have an online class that I do every week. and yeah, we learn stuff, and you get to hand in your work, so I get to see what you guys make, and I give you guys feedback. So it's really fun. It's a good time if you want to learn with me. But other than that, hope you guys had a good time in the stream. Yeah, so trying to think. That's about it. Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye bye. See ya.